I haven't followed up well on comments lately, so I want to hit on some commenting with you all. So I'm gonna have my comment section pulled up here. I can't guarantee I'll hit all of them, but I'm gonna do a hit and miss. Okay, we're gonna do a little hit and miss here. So I'm gonna start here at the top and work down. So it's gonna be some newer ones going to some older ones because I'm gonna scroll in the order it's here. So on the third batch hatching video, subscriber called Battle Fight said, "Do you have a farm?" Absolutely, I have a farm. Yes, sir. Go back and watch some of our other videos, and you'll know we live a dual life: beach life, farm life in Texas, beach life in Philippines. Um, our good old S. Michael DeHart, um, James and Mel, hope and pray y'all's family and friends are okay in the Philippines. That's because there has currently been a typhoon already hit. It hit high north, far, far away from us. But we hear that it did some damage up there. And so keep prayers out for everybody up there in the Philippines that got hit by one of the first storms of the season. And thank you for that, sir, for checking on us. You got someone new we're hearing from here right now. New subscriber, and her name is Valerie K. So Valerie, thank you first of all for subscribing to us. We appreciate that a lot. And this one is addressed to Melinda. Melinda, can you come here real quick? This one is addressed to Melinda, so I'm gonna skip it until she gets a chance to get in here. But Valerie had also wrote in another comment, looking forward to your new videos. So Valerie K wrote here, "Hey Mel, how do you handle being homesick? My family is in Canada, born in Ireland, and that travel would not be as far as yours, of course. But when I go back for a visit, it is so exciting, and then 2 days before it's time to leave, I become so sad and hate to leave." So Melinda, what do you have to say to her about handling being homesick? And you'll have to kind of stay in one spot if you don't stay in camera. I'm not going to chase you moving around. I see you give me them eyeballs. Yeah.
Sorry with my hair. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Valerie, I'm going to answer your question. So about that homesick, of course, I already been used to away my family.
Well, you really don't have much of a chance getting homesick. We go back so often.
Yes, and we go back so often.
That
So
that's the lucky thing for Melinda is that she gets to return often. We know some people that, like our friend Patrick, for instance. Our friend Patrick that helps me out, and he's my dear, dear friend, our dear friend. He hasn't been home in maybe 14 years. He's from Nairobi, Kenya. When he left there and came to the U.S., he's never been back home. 14 years. 14 years.
that's me, the one that I told you that it's because I told you that since I was young, I've been work to other people already, so
Yeah,
I used
what
to far away my family.
what Melinda's explaining there, she grew up in a family with a lot of hardships.
Mm-hmm.
And so even as kids, they had to go work. And that means sometimes working in other people's homes. Even as a child, you were a domestic helper in a home.
Mm-hmm.
In her situation. So even young, she went to other people's houses away from her family doing work all the way through her life. She worked in Singapore as well as a lot of what they call overseas Filipino workers. She had also been away from her family then. She worked up in Manila.
Yes, Manila. So the time that you came back to your family is just only limited time to spend there.
It becomes a Filipino way of life. They are seamen, everybody. They have grown culturally accustomed to being apart from their family, but they do still get homesick. And thank God for things like the internet, video calls, uh, sending remittances that they know makes their family happy, sending like ballot buying boxes, which is a big box of goods that you can ship back to your family, maybe things you picked out for them, and kind of sending your love. But luckily, Melinda now gets to return home quite often,
Yes.
but not all do. So now we're going to go on to the next one here, which is Daniel Thomason. It says, "Love the self-sufficient life." He's a video back of us when we first returned back from the Philippines, um, and we were having to eat food that we still had stored here from the garden last year, and from meats and stuff we harvested that, you know, we didn't, when we landed here from the Philippines during this malady, we didn't have to make an immediate run to the grocery store right off the bat, because we live a pretty self-sufficient life, a self-reliant life, and that's what we strive for. And Valerie, again, she wrote me here that hi from Illinois, and that she loves seafood, but not going to find much in the Midwest, and she loves her videos. Thank you so much for that again, Valerie. And yeah, it's going to be trucked in only to the Midwest for sure. Stacy, our really loyal Stacy Spears, she said, "I know I'm behind. It's been crazy here. It looks like 2 more weeks and we'll have our grandson." Well, uh, it says looks like 2 more weeks we'll have our grandson. So I know she's been enjoying the grandson, and so that eats up her YouTube time some, you know, but that's a blessing, and it's wonderful that she's been able to do that. Not sure what I'm doing wrong, but she said about the last 4 or 5 of your vlogs, I've tried to like it, and it says add it to my like videos, but the content or the count on it doesn't increase. Take care. Well, it's probably out there. They have been telling us that they're having some technical issues, Stacy, and we know on our end there is, and they'll get it corrected. It'll probably fix itself, but I appreciate you doing that and taking the time, and that means a lot to us. So I have a video here that Randall and Flora Meek wrote, and it was regards to me meeting and running into another vlogger that's actually from Dallas, Texas, that lives there in Oton, outside of Iloilo, between where we live in Tigbawan, Philippines, Iloilo and Iloilo City. There's a nice little town called Oton, and Tito Tim, a vlogger from Dallas, Texas, that's retired and living there. I ran into him and we had a little quick moment with each other inside of a hardware store. And so on that video, Randall or Floor wrote, "Wow, I was in Ilo City at the time this video was made. I was doing the same thing as you guys, hitting up all the building supply stores. We bought tile for our house while we was there. Can't wait to get back there. Love the rainy season. We left in early September." Well, next time we need to connect with each other. So Randall, if y'all want to connect or anything, write me an email. It's jamesray080808@gmail.com. And if y'all want to know what the 080808 means, that is the birth date of my son. He was born August 8th of 2008, and that was during the opening Olympic Games. That was the day of the opening of the Olympic Games in China, and that big new place they built that they called the Bird Nest. So that's what that stands for. But give me a write me a message there, and let's connect. And next time maybe we're all there and we can have a little meet and greet and do things Filipino style and cook up some food and say hello. So let's move on here. So Russell Hernan had wrote about an older video we put out about Melinda's garden in Texas and working the land, about a worm that was out there before. And he wrote that that's called a hornworm. And yes, plant in a block. And what he means plant in a block is plant your corn in a block, not in long straight rows. They'll pollinate better. They'll stand up to the wind better and all, because in a group, you know, anything stronger in a block than in a straight line like that. So appreciate that, Russell, and for the comment. Catherine Aquino, she wrote, "Where can I get that type of incubator, please?" if you will look in the description of those videos, those Nurture Right 360 videos, I have a link there. It's on Amazon to those. If that particular vendor on Amazon has ran out of them, we'll go ahead and do a little quick search for Nurture Right 360. There in Amazon, you'll find it. Now, I am an Amazon associate, affiliate, and so we earn a tiny commission off anything you buy when you click on that link off of Amazon. It doesn't increase your price none. You're still going to pay the exact same price. It's just we get a tiny little kickback, and I mean it's not much. It can be just cents only, but of course that adds up and it helps us and helps cover a little bit of my time on the vlog. So I would appreciate that. Um, so I hope that that'll help you out, Catherine. Go to that link in the description on the video. Um, so right here is George. He's got his channels named Concrete House Building in the Philippines because he built a pretty substantial concrete home there, and he's an engineer. He's probably a way smarter man than I am, without a doubt. Pretty technical. Sometimes he's like, "Oh, George, you overwhelm me sometimes with your technicalities," but it's all good, man. I enjoy it. Probably something there that I could definitely learn if my head wasn't so thick. It says, James, you talk to your dad what you would do with a rogue dog. Now, what he's talking about is that we had a video recently went out on our third batch hatching on our chicks, and I tell what happened to the first batch of the stray dog my dad took in and kept for years. And then when my dad left this world, I took his dog on, and she had wreaked some havoc for my dad, but he was really attached to her. And she come here and she's wreaked a lot of havoc for us, and I just kept trying to hold on because it was my dad's dog, and I felt like still holding a piece of him. I'm holding her even though she's really causing a lot of mayhem, and including when she was with him, it was even the sheriff's department coming to his place about that dog because of the neighbors. So he said if you can't apply capital punishment, just chain it to something you want guarded. We tried that. She will endlessly throw a temper fit if you try to restrict her like that. I mean, bad. So you will not get no rest. And she has a very deep, loud bark. So even if you got her away, you're still going to hear it. And we have renters around us. So I'm sure they probably don't want to listen to my dog. And she was also going and roaming at night. We try to keep her locked up in the yard, but they find ways sometimes. She got smart, and she would go out the gate during the daytime when Melinda would be out roaming, and she would go hide out to make sure she didn't get locked in the gate at night here on the farm. She's pretty conniving. So we've made decisions on her that I just choose not to share on here at this time, but yeah, it's been a tough deal for real. We're gonna go on here. Let's see here. So Jeffrey Starmer, he has said he is wondering what happened to the black one. It really sucks about the first batch. Well, and he has his opinion too about what should be done about a dog like that, especially when it's had a history. I have to agree with you, Jeffrey. I have to agree with you. Jazz and Kelly said that pie looked delicious, and they're talking about Melinda's dewberry treats on the video on that, if y'all hadn't seen it. And she's made 2 of them pies, and I can see part of the pie right here on my cheeks and my neck. Yeah, they found a home permanently on me here somewhere, boy. Yes, delicious. And we just hit a whole jackpot more, a big, beautiful, delicious dewberries. Dewberries are just kind of like a cousin to a blackberry. A blackberry tends to be a little sweeter, and they have very fine seeds. Sometimes you don't even notice the seeds, where a dewberry has a more pronounced seed. You can actually even kind of bite on it with your teeth, and they'll tend to not be quite as sweet unless they're like super ripe. They'll have a little tartness to them, but man, they still cook down to make wonderful stuff. Boy, wonderful. And they're still good to eat off the vine. Just one's just a little sweeter than the other. Um, and dewberries pretty much just grow wild. So appreciate that, Jazz and Kelly. So then we got here, let's see what this one is. My hand might get tired here trying to hold this up, so y'all bear with me. Um, if a person had time and patience, they could almost watch them grow. It's that quick. Talking about how quick the chicks grow. And this is Bill Long. Appreciate you commenting. And he's also made reference about the dog. The ongoing problems must be dispatched. Sad to say, it sometimes that's just the sad, hard reality. Sometimes, boy. Right here, let's see. Lawrence, he's a regular commenter sometimes too. Lawrence Beeler, and he wrote also about seeing Melinda in that same video with the chicks out there with flip-flops and a shovel, and he said that shovel is taller than she is, and she's wearing flip-flops. Yeah, and that was a short shovel, and it's still taller than her. So then we got Chad's Way, and Chad, I always appreciate him, and we conversate a little bit on the phone as well. You know, we've grown beyond just the YouTube, as I have with some others as well, and to personal, private conversations. He's a great guy. I really appreciate him. And Chad said he's going to reboot his YouTube channel here soon. He had worked on one in the past, and he's going to cover doing some eBaying and things, is what he said. So y'all watch out for Chad's Way. Look over his way if he starts putting out content. He's a really great guy. And he's also does a little homesteading, gardening, and he's one of them that we really enjoy on here. We enjoy a lot of people, but Chad, we've got grown to have a personal connection with, and we appreciate that. So look here, what else we got here? So Charles Hoadley, I hope I said that right, Hoadley. He's talking about that same video too, and that chick ran away from me, and he's saying that chick says, I'm free as the wind now. And he'd also mentioned about, I hadn't had time to do a lot of video, and he said he understands the hay season when it starts. You're going to be busy cutting. You're going to be cutting one day, and you're going to be baling another, and it's just the way it is. And said, make sure Mel has one of those pies ready for you when I come in off the tractor for making hay. Appreciate you, Charles. Daniel Thomason says, I love the channel, new subscriber. Would Daniel, I appreciate you. I've seen here lately that we are picking up many new subscribers, and I tell you, I felt bad with all these new people coming on board that I hadn't got a video out because I've been so busy. And when I say busy, it's hard to distract with hay cutter and baler and equipment and all on the dangerous side of it if you got distracted. But it's literally, I am just getting with it. And y'all can only see so much hay being cut and only so many round bales. So I just hit the highlights on it. But y'all just bear with me and let me get through this cutting season, and we'll get back to some other content. And in the next 2 days, we have already more chicks about to be born. And if y'all want to know how the last hatch went, I never did a follow-up on this third batch. How many total? Mel, how many total hatched in this last batch? 14. So we got 14 out of that hatch out of 22 eggs. We candle them. A lot of the eggs are just not fertile and they don't develop. But we got 14, and that's still pretty good, and they're doing great, by the way. Maybe I'll step out the door and show them to you here. We'll do it right now. Let's take a little comment break, and I'm going to pause and walk out there, and we'll pick it back up. Hold on. So they're in the little homemade brooder right here. If you want to check them out, here they are. Every one of them has been very healthy. And y'all hear all that rain. That's why I keep a boat sitting right outside the door here, because this year has been like the great flood for real. Man, I live on top of a hill and still think I might need a boat to get out of here. Um, so we got a little distracted there. I wanted y'all to see the chicks there and do a follow-up at the same time about that third batch, 14 out of it. 2 more days, we have a new batch hatching. Okay, so here we are. Daniel Thomason, he was the one we were talking about here. Love the channel, new subscriber. Again, I appreciate all of you new subscribers. He said, I'm living a similar life on a farm in Tennessee, and you are a beautiful couple. Well, I thank you for that very, very much, sir. Appreciate it. We have our moments. Let me tell you, we have our moments, and it's not always sunshine. Sometimes it's like outside right now. It's a little bit of storm. But after every storm comes the most beautiful sun and nice fresh slate again. Every time relationships, sometimes you're gonna have to vent, and it's like anything. When you let off the steam, it's all good again. We don't get no crazy or nothing, but that's the way it is. All right, well, here we go on now. Uh, who's your daddy? Well, that is our friend Daryl. He changed his name, and Daryl has been another long-time subscriber with us and regular commenter, and somebody that we've also grown a lot of connection with. And he said bird on the run. He's talking about that third batch video as well, when that bird ran. He said bird on the run, wasn't that a Paul McCartney song, like Band on the Run? And yeah, he said, no Indian saying for that type of situation, doggone. Looking forward to seeing your garden and your other projects. Well, thank you much, Daryl. I hope you're doing good, sir. It's I didn't hear from Daryl back a while back or what much comments and all. And you get to know all these subscribers. It don't matter how many thousand there is, man. If you got a good memory, you kind of keep up with everyone. And as channel grows and people that's really involved with your channel a lot, you really recognize who's around, who's not now. And one time I didn't hear from Daryl. I grew concerned on him because he's fighting some battles right now, and other people reached out to him, and he let me know it was okay. And man, I was glad. And then we have CC Ryder, which I see his comment coming up here soon too. And same thing, CC Ryder, he broke silent one time, and we're like, hey, what's going on with CC? But they told me he got loved up with a new girlfriend. So funny. So right here, we're over on the Dewberry Treats video, and it's Ballot Buying Farming with Dave and Emily, and they also have a channel. If any of y'all want to check them out, if y'all like the Philippine lifestyle. And he said, I hate hitting old wire with my bush hog, and it's worse on my Rotator, which is a real bar which is a real bear to cut off that wire wrapped around those tines. I bet it is. I just got into that again yesterday. In fact, yesterday evening, I was trying to get some stuff unwrapped off of a mower. Man, what a mess. Picked up some random piece of steel that was like hanging some kind of pottery on a wall. So appreciate you out there, Dave and Emily, CC Ryder. Tough luck. Remember the old saying, anything that can happen may happen. Well, no, it's more like anything that may happen can happen. And I hope you're doing well out there, CC. So let's go on down here. I'm gonna skip over some of these now, and let's look for some actual questions. So Daryl Craig, and let's see how long Daryl's been with us here. He's been with us 6 days. So Daryl, you're a newer subscriber too. Appreciate it. I'm still hoping for a swarm to come into that. It hasn't yet. I have seen some fly over there to that that hive. I wish honestly that I just went ahead and ordered a queen and started up that myself. I really wish. And right now I'm thinking this upcoming week, if I can still locate a queen and get that started, I'm going to go ahead and try to. I just think that I'm not. I don't know. It's just too big a risk if they're just going to randomly swarm and go over there from that oak tree. So we'll see. We'll see. But I think I'm going to go ahead and order a queen. But I appreciate you watching the video. And it says good luck. And I subbed and I'll watch for y'all to update. So there's where that stands. Let's move on down through here. And I want to get to some particular questions. There's a lot of great comments here and all. But I want to get on down here. So there was a gentleman, Xavier, and I don't know how to say this last name. It's Asunción, Escaution, something like that. Xavier Escaution. He's asking on the pump boats over in the Philippines what the top speed of a 16 horsepower motor can hit full throttle. Well, I'm going to tell you, and he wanted to know like in kilometers per hour, and all. Those pump boats are not about a race. It's definitely not the rabbit. It's definitely the tortoise, but it will get you there. And you can't just go off of horsepower. It deals with prop, what size, 8-inch, 9-inch, 10-inch, which you really don't want anything bigger than any of that on one of those little boats anyway. It's according to how long that boat is, how much heavy load you're going to carry on that boat. There's too many variables to just give you a number of speed. We see some guys that's got a little stripped down bunker or pump boat with like a 16 on it and rolling by themselves. And man, they'll have it screaming across the water. And there's others that's just tuk 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 tuk, and they're just chugging along, and they might be going 5 kilometers per hour or something like that, 7. And they might be running the engine a little bit bigger and with maybe a bigger prop, but lower RPMs. It's just all according. It's not really a set speed there for that. So Ty Bell, he commented on the Homesteader used as an ox by a Filipino wife. It used to say abused by a Filipino wife, but YouTube censored me on that one, and so they decided that because it said abused, that it was unfit video for monetization, even though it had something like 50,000-60,000 views or something, But that's a pretty funny video. If any of the new subscribers, y'all hadn't seen it or anything, just check that one out. It's from last year. Texas Homesteader used as ox by Filipino wife. He says find her a donkey or a mule. And she does have an old mule. She's got me. Lamar Turnip Seed, and he has been with us for 8 months now. Appreciate you. He said, Tex, you are a workhorse. I'll be thinking of ways you can make money off the pond. Boy, I tell you, all those things run through my head. But the fact is, we enjoy to spend a lot of our time in the Philippines, so it's hard to try to get into too many money-making schemes here in the U.S. because, of course, those things need to be nurtured. All right. So Minnesota Q wrote that he has a 12-volt 800-watt inverter in his RV, and it works as advertised and was giving me 0 problems. And you must read the manual as it's extensive, many different settings. If he's referring to the MPP solar inverters, there are a lot of settings, and sometimes if you feel like your unit's not working properly for you, you might just have the settings set wrong in there. You need to do your due diligence and get that set up right. And those initial settings are important before you even get started rolling good, because in just a matter of short bit of time, if those settings are wrong for your particular battery, like lithium or lead acid, and flooded lead acid, you could damage your batteries. You could undercharge them, overcharge them, and some lithiums you could end up with runaway thermal and burn the batteries, possibly your house or whatever you have it in. So do your homework on your settings before you even turn it on. Turn that thing on, turn it in on with the battery only with no solar hooked up so that it's not charging. Get straight in there, get those settings set up so it can cut off before it discharges too far on your batteries, and it can cut out the charging before it overcharges them, and that it's for the right kind. If you're running lithiums, make sure that it's not set to do a what they call a equalization for a lead acid, or you will instantly burn those batteries up. You've got to do your due diligence ahead of time, setting up those MPPT chargers, charge controllers, or any of them on your charger and inverters. Super important. Don't just hook it up, turn it on, and walk away with solar going. You might find yourself failing in the first hour. Yeah, definitely got to pay attention. Um, so let's move on down here. I'm gonna scroll past some. Um, so Thunderbird 97 on the damaged wall sheets and progress on the shop. He wrote, "Are you putting any panels in to let some light through?" Okay, if you might catch a glimpse of it or not, on the section of the building that's already done out there on the shop, you'll see there's a light panel there already, and I already have them purchased also for the next roof sections across there. And so yes sir, definitely putting in those light panels. They are wonderful. And not only do those light panels on your roof, on your shops, your buildings like that, um, just let light through. They work like a diffuser, which spreads that light nice and even. And I swear that sometimes it'll look brighter inside than it even does outdoors. Those skylight panels. There's a couple kinds you can get: polycarbonate and fiberglass. Poly's going to be more clear, fiberglass, and it's going to be softer and more dangerous though. Um, but it's going to be more clear, and the fiberglass, it will tend to maybe yellow more over time, but they're tougher, but they diffuse the light better. So there's your little comparison on that, and I know that because I worked at industry. Um, so let me see what else we got right here. I'm going to move on down here and let it load some more comments. Just bear with me. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Um, so I believe it's Damian Roman. He has been waiting and waiting for me to put up another solar video of the inverter with the Tesla batteries. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Damien, if you happen to see this out there, I recorded some video, but I never posted it. And I have the system up. It's connected. There's part of my solar panels connected to it right now. The Tesla batteries are connected to it. They're at full charge right now. I'm going to tell you this. If I could go back, and which I can in a way, I would not buy the Tesla batteries. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm so scared of runaway thermal with them. I would suggest to not buy those Tesla batteries. Unless that you've got maybe somewhere that if you wanted to run them as a cheaper option, that they're not inside your home or a building or something that you would not be willing to lose in a burn down. And it all results back to this. It's all about battery management. Battery management. And of course, Tesla had a very specific design battery management system for those multi-cell batteries. And as we said, lithium can get into a runaway condition if overcharged, and they will, when I say runaway, they will get hot and they will ignite and they will burn profusely. Fires you pretty much can't put out. So that's pretty scary to have around your home or anywhere you're living. unless you had like an outbuilding or some kind of special fireproof box or something, and they're going to burn hot. And a regular low tin structure is not going to contain it. So I'm going to look at other options. I have it here. The batteries are charged. I set it within perimeter. There's people out there use them and they get away with no balancing issues for a long time. But I just don't feel comfortable, and I'm actually thinking to put those batteries on eBay and sell them and take that money and invest into a different option. There's some new things come up recently. So, any of you that's been waiting for a video on that, that's why. I wouldn't want to put nothing out there and promote an idea that could possibly cause damage to somebody. So, I'm saying right now, don't use them. And if you do use them at your own risk. Use your own due diligence. I'll say this too. Will Prowse, if y'all know who Will Prowse is, that does a lot of solar videos. He did a live chat the other day, and they got on this topic of Tesla batteries and being used. And Will, he's used MPP Solar, the same brand that I like, for his own personal stuff as well. And he was in the same idea that I am prior to me even seeing his videos. And he did have a viewer that put a comment there on that video, and that Will addressed and went to a website that they suggested that does have supposedly a real BMS for those Tesla batteries. Now, I don't know the price. It may not be cost effective, but just look into that if you do have some and you're still wanting to use them. So the system's running. The perimeters are up. Some people put out there on those Tesla batteries that you can't get the full use out of them. Well, that these inverters, say like MPP Solar and some other brands, won't let you discharge them enough to go low enough on the charge to get the full effect out of them. Well, I will say this on that also. You don't want to use the 100% full range out of those batteries. You don't want to charge them to the max. So if they say, oh, you can't get them charged high enough with some inverters, you don't need to. If it gets it, a volt maybe under its max, I would be happy with that. And they're pretty close. I mean, you do not want to run it at max. And you do not want to go to the minimum on charge either. You will cycle the life out of those batteries so fast, you will just be burning your money up in the wind. Tesla in the cars does not cycle those batteries in that big wide span that a lot of people comment on. They do not bring that voltage down super low and then charge back up super high, working that full range in there. They work a small range back and forth, leaving a lot on the bottom end and leaving some on the top end as well. And that is why those batteries end up with a battery life going for years and years and years. But if you was to run that full amount, you may not even get 1, 2, 3 years, 4 years maybe out of those batteries, and that's that. So if you do happen to get an inverter that you can set that cutout voltage down really low and peak it to its max on charge, you're gonna, what we would say down here in Texas, you're gonna work that horse to death. That's just what we say. So there's your little information for all of you out there as well. Buy the appropriate batteries. Get some that are a true 24, a true 48 volt battery that this equipment's really designed for. Not something that's just close, not a 46, not a 44 volt combination. The Tesla is a little under that, and so it does seem to run into a little bit of a problem. So scrap the Tesla idea. I just tell you right now, scrap it. That's my opinion. Let me see what else we have here. I think that's one of the things I really wanted to cover. Well, Joe, his name's Joe. I hope I say this right. Fugate. He had watched my videos about doing those ad hoc forms, those slip forms on concrete on our house we were building in the Philippines prior to having to bust out of there. And so let me read what he wrote here. I really appreciated this. He said, "Hi James, these are going to be great training videos when we start build our home in the Philippine Islands. My wife's nephews will be helping us, and these are the details that I need to show them. I plan to try to keep a small crew as well. So far, we've shipped about 18 boxes back to the Philippines, those ballot buying boxes with all kinds of stuff. We even had a storage room built at one of her brother's houses to store them. Well, I appreciate that, and you can always reach out to me and ask questions. I'm not say I'm like the go-to expert, but what we're doing seems to be pretty efficient, and I'm loving it, and I appreciate you appreciating that and using us as a model to work off of. Um, and I noticed you gave several comments out there, Joe, so we appreciate that as well. So these are some of the ones I want to catch. There's many others out there too, and I appreciate all of these wonderful comments. I just want to take a little time and reach out to you all and let you know we're doing good. See how you're all doing. Sorry, shaking there. My hand's tired. And and thanks for bearing with me. This is kind of a long video, but it's a catch-up video. And I'll say this before I close this video out. We're missing the Philippines. Um, I'm blessed to have this farm in Texas, without a doubt. These cattle, this land, and I'm blessed without a doubt having it. I am, but I have no one to share it with other than my wife, and my wife's not a hired farmhand. She's my wife. She's not a hired farmhand, and I just mean her working herself to death out there doing things that maybe a man should be doing. And nor do I have a son here that I can share that to. My daughters, they're not interested in a farming life. They have careers. My one daughter, Megan, I'm very proud of her. She's a police officer. She has her own career, her own life, her own things that she wants. My younger daughter, Brittany, which they're both grown women, um, she is a nurse. Her husband is a police officer along with my other daughter. And at this point in life right now, I just don't feel that any of them have farming in their future. Now, as they get older or something, they may just enjoy to maybe someday have the land to just enjoy having some space around them. But at this point in time, there's not an active role. And it's hard for me to do all of this alone. It is hard. When I come back here to Texas, I literally feel like I work myself to death. I I'm on my own for everything. I am the chief cook and bottle washer, and that makes me get to be a dull boy. Let me tell you. And I dream of fun projects, but I'm so caught up with trying to like work the cows, work the land, baling this hay, vaccinating, on the herds and stuff, checking herds, repairing fences, and when we leave, I'm just worried about the cows. If somebody taking care of them right, they're never going to take care of them the method that you have planned out. Like my cousin, he did a great job. I really appreciate him a lot for it, but I maybe wish there'd been a little bit more hay put out sometimes, and it wasn't. But he's got a lot of other places to be, so it's not his cattle, and so he did good, but he probably just didn't put the level I would have in personally, and but he's got a lot to take care of himself, so that's just part of it. He's doing me a favor, so I'm not going to look a gift horse down the throat, but it's a lot of work alone. What Mel and I we enjoy when we're in the Philippines is we have people around us. We have her family there. Her brothers are there, her sister-in-law's there, the kids are there, nieces, nephews, my son's over there, and and there we have, like you see, building the house. We have a crew of family helping build the home and working together, and we have joking and we have camaraderie, and the girls do things and they're cooking and they're hanging out and they play games together, and the kids and stuff and all that, and it's a real structured family life. And here it's her and I out here in the middle of the sticks. So and any move we make for help here costs a lot of money, and here people want to go after you of, oh, I scratched my finger, I'm going to make you pay for it, you know. And there you don't have all of that nonsense. um, so it's beautiful, it's tropical, my body does better there. It's like today, this little cool air came down, wasn't even much cool air, it blew in this little northern, and I was having pain hit, man. I mean, the nerves are funny things and they're affected by this stuff. So we're missing the Philippines. We're missing our life there. We're thinking that we would like to have some farmland there to where we've got room to grow uh, our own food and have our own animals and stuff there, kind of like we do here, but there, and we're not just us, but others can enjoy it. And y'all welcome to comment about that. Y'all can say negative and y'all can say positive, but life life doesn't go on forever. It does. He got a lot more than most people ever do. He probably got double the life that a lot of people do. But not everybody gets that lucky, and you can wait and wait and wait to enjoy life until time's up and you didn't get that chance. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy life, it's just I enjoy it better there. And with that note, I'm going to close out. Y'all are welcome to comment. I know this video is long, it's a little update video. I want to wish everybody well out there, and Brian and Maricel at A Foreigner Farming in the Philippines. Um, they are soon, they're less than a month now away from the due date of their baby Charlie, I believe is what his name's going to be. And so I'm wishing them well on that. Brian and I have been emailing back and forth a little bit, but I have been so busy I haven't even followed up with him. But keep prayers out there for Brian and Marcel that their baby comes in this world healthy and with no problems. And until the next time I see you all, God bless.